But now they're tick, tick, tick. I don't think even kids know how to write programs anymore. Probably not. Everything, got an app for that, got an app for that. And then look, this is a mindless app that will get me sucked in for another 2 hours. Yay, yeah, let me show another mindless app. And this is what is happening with all these kids. And their screen time is exponentially more than, let's say, that average Gen Xer between 38 and 53 years old.
Your organization has achieved a significant dent in vaccine mandates.
We didn't do the science. We didn't do the clinical trials. We didn't do the post safety. But one thing we know it's rare.
Hello, and welcome to another engaging episode of Shot Callers. I am Carrie Bigford, Outreach Director with Texans for Vaccine Choice, and today it is my honor to introduce our guest, Dr. Seema Nanda, the founder and director of the Nanda Dry Eye and Vision Institute. As a clinical professor at the University of Houston College of Optometry, Dr. Nanda advises Turning Point USA and serves as a national delegate at the Republican National Convention. Dr. Nanda is an innovator and inventor of the Nanda ocular forceps, which is widely used in treating corneal issues. She has pioneered the use of regenerative tissue to heal the cornea, benefiting over 2,000 patients. A much sought after and excellent speaker, Dr. Nanda has presented over 1,000 lectures worldwide and has been a key figure at numerous health and conservative events. She also educates doctors nationwide on opioid understanding and human trafficking. Please join me in welcoming the visionary leader, dedicated educator, and wonderful human, Dr. Seema Nanda, to the show. Thank you so much for coming.
Boom. How are you guys? Okay.
So good.
It's a little different than normal. Okay. I'm going to be a blues brotherette, and I'll explain in a second here. So thank you for the wonderful introduction, Carrie. As always,
Yes.
you are just amazing. What you do is amazing, and I'm being honored as well to be on this podcast with you. Yes, I've been here before, so I'm not new to this, not my first rodeo. But what I am going to discuss today is something that really is bothering me. And maybe that's why I'm wearing these shades, to protect from this evil TV, what I call a computer. And what I'm going to be talking about today is the effects of blue light on the eyes, and not only on the eyes, but on the body, on the brain, everything else. So I know we hit vaccines as well as how it disturbs and disrupts our body. By increasing the inflammation, but most people don't even realize it. Yes, I am an eye doctor, so I help people see to the right, but I'm chain. That's on my card too, I swear. Okay, so with this Blues Brothers aspect, I'm going to, let me see if I can share there we go.
I love it.
So this is what I do. I'm an edutainer. I educate through entertainment, and I do it in a fun way and an educational way. So this is, yes, I am an instructor. I'm a professor. So can you imagine me in class? It's just crazy. So let me go on to make this even funner, right? Let's talk about light. Oh, so let there be light. So everybody remembers this when they were what? Are you smarter than the fifth grader? This is my little Roy G. Biv. Okay, so how we see things. It's red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. So this is the visible spectrum. Things out to the side we cannot see with the eye, and that's infrared light as well as UV light, both on both fringe sides. So we know those things since, like I said, fifth grade or so. And what we need to understand is what these high energy lights, which come from blue. And there's two categories of blue light. And I know everyone throws these things like, is red light good? Is blue light bad? Well, I'm going to here to dispel some myths and to educate, like I said from the beginning. So when we talk about blue light, there's kind of two bands that we look at specifically: blue violet, or I call blue violent. Okay, that's how to remember it. Okay. And blue turquoise, which is chill. Okay, which is kind of me on a Saturday afternoon, right? So when we look at these high energy lights, or specifically HEV, which we call, not HEB, not the food store, but we look at it, we see, okay, yeah, they're kind of next door to each other. You have a good neighborhood and a not so good neighborhood, like the bad neighborhood, those 3 blocks on the street. Yeah, that's what we're talking about here. This bad neighborhood, or blue violent, as I was saying before, can cause something in the back of the eye, and maybe you've heard of it, which is called age-related macular degeneration, or AMD for short. The blue turquoise is what makes you Wake up in the morning, the sun comes out, it's a bright, beautiful day. And then when the sun goes down, it's time to sleep. So it helps us with our circadian rhythm. So when we're looking at these things, we have to know there's beneficial that keeps us awake, keeps our memory, keeps our focus intact, etc. when the sun comes out. And then there's the one that's not so beneficial. And this is what is causing the damage to the back of the eye, which is the retina. Or should I switch to the British accent? The retina. Okay, so there's a problem here. I know you guys are waiting for my accent, and I know Carrie's all excited about it.
I love your accents.
I was going to start with British, but then a Blues Brothers is not British. It would be Chicago, downtown Chicago here. So when we look at this visible spectrum, it looks like, the movie Poltergeist, they're here. Well, that blue light is here, and it is not going anywhere. And I did this lecture to a bunch of patriots basically, and they're like, well, how do we ban it? It's like, ban the blue light. I'm like, yeah, that's good. We need to. We're like, but it's everywhere. But is it or is it not? Like I said, there's the good, the bad, and the ugly. Well, this is what it is. So this is this high energy is kind of more of a concern. Now we've got, our rods and cones. So our rods are for night, day and night, right? Our cones are for color. So we remember that cones color, CC. So you got your green light, red light, red light, green light. Remember that? Okay, I'm not talking about that. But anyway, we've got red light, green light, which are kind of chill. And then we've got blue light. And at high enough doses can cause more damage. Okay, and not just to the eye, but to the whole body itself. So when we're looking at that, there's another thing that was discovered recently, and recently in the last 20 plus years. And this is called IPRGC, without getting too much into the woods, because there's a lot of stuff that I'm going to layman down it. Okay. And remember, I give these lectures to doctors, so I'm going to bring it down to, are you
Thank you for bringing it down to our level.
Yes, exactly. So I will just say a fancy word so I can look smart. Intrinsically photosensitive retinal ganglion cells. Come on, say what? All right. This was discovered in 2002. It's this particular cell, this particular thing in the back of the eye that allows our regulation of our circadian rhythm. What keeps us awake and alert and tells our brain, it's time to go to bed or it's time to wake up. So when it's time to wake up, we turn off the melatonin, we turn down the volume, okay? Keep it there for us to be chill, but just turn down the volume so we can be alert. But when the melatonin, is there, then it tells our brain, oh, it's time to sleep. Now, as we age, as everything goes awry, as we age, our actual melatonin production reduces. Did you know that?
I did not.
So a lot of the times when you have elderly patients like I do, they say, well, I go to bed around 9 o'clock, but, I wake up at 3 o'clock to go pee. This is my obviously country patient. And I said, well, you don't drink too much water before you go to bed, so you don't have to go to pee. But also there's something else. The body is probably trying to get rid of some toxins and stuff. And that's when your kidneys are like, okay, we got to get rid of this stuff now. So you wake up in the middle of the night. Or some people just are light sleepers. And when our melatonin decreases, then we wake up as well. So those things can happen. So we need that sun. We need that sun. People like us in Texas are great because we get the sun pretty much 9 months out of the year. Although I would really appreciate a little cooler weather in October.
And a little less humidity.
Yeah, it's 90 degrees still. It's something wrong here.
It's fall.
And the temperatures still haven't fell. Okay, we need those temperature drops a little bit, but you can thank the deep state for that. But anyway, we're not going there, at least not today. Not today. We'll go there a different day. On a Saturday night going, damn that deep state. All right, so now if we look over here, we need it for our wellness, our feeling of well-being. And so if we don't get enough sun, okay, that's when we get kind of in a funk and depressed. There are more people depressed in Seattle than they are in Houston. I'll just tell you that right now. Seattle, places in England, in London, it's always foggy. When it's foggy outside and the sun's not coming out, you kind of feel a little bit melancholy. So I guess that's why good, sad songs come out of that. So there's that, balance. Is it good? Is it bad? Well, we know it's good because it provides us the light. It helps us stay awake. It helps our circadian rhythm, keeps us alert. But the bad, the good, the bad, and the ugly, like I said, exposure to the large amount of bad blue light will be, not maybe, I should change that, will be harmful to the eyes. And I will show you how. it actually causes the death of the cells. Okay, not a death of a salesman, but death of the
Right.
cells, and the cells to implode on each other. It is really, really bad. So when we look at it, there is a good and bad, but we have to understand what the bad is and how we can do something about it. I'm not just going to throw, bombs at us and okay, we're done, we're doomed.
Yeah, it's always good to have an action item.
There you go. And you are a woman of action. So
I am
will
indeed.
definitely provide you action items. Okay. So when we look at this, you're like, okay, this is back in the caveman days. We knew when the sun came out, it's time to go hunt and gather, right? We have to stay alert. We don't want an animal to kill us or whatever. We need to get what we need, our food supply, maybe play some hopscotch or whatever, and then come back to the cave when it's dark. So we come back to the cave to allow us to sleep. But that's not happening anymore. When we come back to our cave, we've got lights on everywhere. Our 8-hour workday is, splattered over to 14 or 12 hours. We've got your lights, which is your LED, the bulbs, even this fake one back here. It's real, but it's somewhere real, right?
Yeah.
You got your smartphones, which are evil. I don't call them smart anymore. I think they're pretty evil. You got this laptop, got your smartwatches, etc. So there's too many activities. Our brain doesn't know when to shut down. And we are mainly indoors. Seldom do I, whenever I ask a patient, so do you ever actually go out in the morning? Well, I go to my car and then I go to work. And, we're leaving in the morning when the sun is not even out yet. And then when I come home, the sun's already set. So I kind of just miss the whole day. So you're in this, metal box or whatever, concrete cave, and you really don't get God's glory, which is that beautiful sun. And because of that, we are really increasing the toxicity, not only to our eyes, but to our whole body itself. And then you wonder why people can't sleep. Now, this guy's falling asleep at work, but he can't fall asleep at night.
Right.
So there's a problem there, big time. So when we look this analysis, this was just done by, this was done by another company. And they showed us that we are picking up our phones, and this is a Gen X generation between 38 and 53. That Gen X generation is picking up, me included, picking up that phone at least every 10 minutes. I just picked it up just to show you something.
Yeah. Right.
96 times in a day.
That's a lot. But yet,
average.
I'm also not surprised.
But that's average. So that means there's a higher end to that spectrum and a lower end. But I bet that's every 15 minutes, every 20 minutes.
Right.
There's a lot of us who cannot leave home without it. That also now includes our laptop, our tablets, our iPads. We're spending,
our hotspot,
in our cafe where we're supposed to be talking to our friend, but we're actually texting her, look what I did. Well, why don't we live in the moment? Forget what you did. Let's live right for now. So we're spending like 34 hours a week on average. That means there are people who are doing it much more. I have a colleague who I have never not seen her without that hermetically sealed to her hip. She is constantly looking at her phone like she's going to miss out on something. Yeah. Another text from, hey, do you want a timeshare in the Guadalajara area? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, what are we really missing out on? So this picture, or these two pictures, really sickened me. This is during the pandemic when everyone's working at home, and she's so happy that she's got her child right next to her, exposing that little eye to that horrible, horrible blue light. Dad's got her little daughter here. Instead of playing with them, they're going and sticking them in front of this evil TV. That's what I call this, in front of these digital devices, and it just doesn't stop. Now you're also got these LEDs. Now, what does LED mean? Light emitting diode. So what happened? Gone are the days of the incandescent bulb, replaced by this LED. So I should probably come up with another acronym that would be something lethal emitting device or something. But this is artificial. This is not real. What I try to do when I'm at home or when I'm, at the office, I'm in a dark room all day because I'm seeing patients, but
and you have to look in their eyeballs, which requires darkness.
It's dark, yes. But, at lunchtime, I go outside, I eat, enjoy. There's a picnic table. I go out there, smell that beautiful exhaust fume from the freeway. No, I'm kidding. But it might as well be. I have to go to the back of the building, so I don't have that. But there's things that we can do to mitigate, some of this LED exposure. Now, what I've done also in my office, I changed the bulbs. I took out the LEDs, or you can change the light fixtures of the LEDs. There's different switches. You can go higher, 5,000 to like 2,300. If you go to the lower, whatever the lower is, that's a warmer emitting light as opposed to a bright white light. That's still better on the eyes and the body. So just like I said to you before, we're always in front of the TV. We are in front of our smartphones and our laptops and our tablets, and we are just almost like sucked in. We're mesmerized by this device, and we don't even know why. You're like, man, another hour's gone. And
like the mosquitoes flying towards the light trap in your yard.
I can't help it. Yes, I watched A Bug's Life. I know. Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
But what happens is when we get closer and closer to these devices, the intensity of that exposure of that blue light increases. When we're 3 feet away, it's 4 times intense. But if we get up on its grill, sorry, I got into your face there, it increases 16-fold. That is a lot of blue light exposure. So the closer you are, the worse it is.
So texting like this is probably not ideal.
Probably not a good idea. Unless, of course, you want that damage and, more bully for you. But the original computers back in the day were orange. Did you know that?
I do remember that from my childhood, yes.
Yeah. So they were orange. Now, why did they change it to blue? Do you know?
Evil, dastardly plan, I would imagine.
Correct. CIA said, no, we must destroy. Now, the worker bee mentality is like, okay, we got to change all the incandescent lights in the office space to fluorescent lights to make them work harder, because the more exposure, the more alert they'll be. So switch from orange to blue, and the more alert you'll be, and you won't fall asleep at work. And then you're hopped up on coffee because you're like, I got to stay awake. Because I'm not getting enough sleep at night, and I'm always exposed to all these blue lights.
And you're not designed to sit in a cubicle all day and type.
Correct.
Yeah.
So this was purposeful. This was orchestrated. They changed it to make you stay awake. And then you never shut off. How many people, I've got many, many, many patients who tell me, yeah, I just can't fall asleep at all. My mind is racing, and I go, well, you got to stay away from that evil machine. It was like, well, I got work to do. No, you don't. They have work for you to do, but you need to get the work done in that time period. And then when you leave, you have to turn off. You have to reflect on your day, and you have to recharge your batteries so you can fight another day, whatever it is that you do. So these changes are screen time increasing. It's this virtual workforce, everything we do. And children's screen time has doubled. I never, ever was on a computer as a child. Okay, yeah, we had a computer class and we learned a little bit here and there, and I had to write programs. I remember that. But, it was more like writing programs on your hand, like, okay, I've got to do this, I've got to do this. And then you put the information in, then you're like, oh, look, I made a program. Okay. But now, they're I don't think even kids know how to write programs anymore. Probably not. Everything, got an app for that, And then look, this is a mindless app that will get me sucked in for another 2 hours. Yay, yeah, let me show another mindless app. And this is what is happening with all these kids. And their screen time is exponentially more than, let's say, that average Gen Xer between 38 and 53 years old.
Yeah, we didn't really have screens to hang out on.
No.
I mean, there were no on-demand TV either. It was just whatever was on was on.
Whatever was on between that time, between 7 and 10, and then you had to go to bed.
Exactly. Right.
The minute the news came up, off to bed. I'm like, oh man, can I stay up for 5 more minutes? Yeah. So this is what's happening now. 33% of children are on at least 3 hours plus a day. So the minute they come home from school, and now I found out from one of my patients, the grandparent, they brought their 2 grandkids in. They were running around playing in the waiting room. And she came back to me and said, yeah, I make sure my kids are not in front of that. My grandkids are not. They're already in front of this device all day at school. And I said, what? What do you mean? Oh, yeah.
They do a lot of online stuff.
Tablets. Tablets. Everything's on a tablet now. Writing cursive is a lost art. Did you know that? They don't know how to do that anymore.
They don't teach it anymore. I know.
Do you know why? Again, do you know why? Everything has a reason. Nothing.
Is it something about not being able to read historical documents?
Correct. Not being able to read the Constitution, not being able to read the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah, we had to teach our kids independently to do cursive.
And so you were in the know. Of course you know.
Yeah.
Of course you know. It's so you keep keep them dumb and ignorant. And that's the problem here. So that's not a good thing. I lost my, hang on just a second.
Okay. Looking at this, it makes me happy that I have made radically different choices with the kids and screen time. It's
Isn't that the
locked down.
Well, and that's what we've had to do. We've had to wake
It's
up.
parenting in the modern era.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
because these dangers didn't exist in our childhood. We were probably the last generation that didn't have to deal with it because we were all adults when this stuff started to come about.
And then when I look at this screen, this picture, I think this is sickening. Like, let him sleep. No, this is going to disrupt his sleep big time. It's not going to allow him to sleep at all. Now, the huge problem comparing to an adult being exposed to a screen versus a child is they tend to hold things a lot closer because most adults pull things out unless they got their readers on. Okay.
Right.
But children can focus up close better, so there's more exposure. Okay. Now, the other thing is, this is very, very big, is our lens inside the eye. And I don't have my eyeball guy, but anyway, we have a lens behind the pupil. Okay. And that allows us to focus in and out. That is our natural, they call it crystalline lens. That is our natural lens. As we age, it gets harder, it gets denser, it protects our retina. Children don't have that. So a child is going to be twice as much likely to get more exposure to the blue light than a 50-year-old person because their lens is more clean, as it were. It's not a dirty windshield that they're looking through.
Right.
That's even scarier because this is why I can start to see different things. And it also disrupts their sleep cycle. So kids, I go out to the grocery store grabbing something at the end of the workday and stuff. And I look and I'm like, what are these kids running around for? They should be getting, settled to bed, but they're not. They're running around at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. And children need sleep. And most of them are sleep deprived. Kids, teenagers need 8.5, 9 hours sleep. Younger than that need even longer. They need 10, 12 hours to get their body ready for the next day. It's how you recharge your batteries. When your cortisol levels go up, when your energy levels go up, it's to keep you awake. But when you are trying to fall asleep and your cortisol levels are too high, you can't sleep. So on average, people are getting 6.5 hours of sleep. 25%, and then 45% are sleep deprived because of this exposure. They don't even realize that this is a huge problem that's occurring. So why is it a big deal? So what? I'm Superman, I'm Superwoman. I don't have to have much sleep. Now, I was that way when I was in school. I know that because many a night, when I was on call or whatever, I 3 days, 4 days, every day, 3 hours, 3 hours, 3 hours. And then Friday hits, I'm out for 12 hours. Yeah. But I did many, many nights of 3 and 4 hours sleep, if that. Between work, between school, between seeing patients at the hospital, I was just boom, boom, boom. So I get it. But what I was doing is really messing up, not only making up my sleep pattern horrible, but it was becoming hard to stay, awake and stay focused. And you need that for patients. And now they're showing because of this, it is suppressing our melatonin, which already decreases on its own as we age. Now you're adding another factor to shut it off. It's really, really not allowing our bodies to get the sleep that it needs. But what's really big is if you decrease this melatonin, then you increase the rates of breast cancer, prostate cancer, heart disease, diabetes, and obesity. And haven't you seen an uptick in that anyway with all the shots?
From all the other environmental toxicity that we have to deal with.
And now add this another layer to that. It makes it even harder and harder for people to get their body readjusted, get these toxins out of us when we don't even have our own immune response to fight it because it's shut down. And melatonin is part of the immune response.
Right.
So we need that to heal. So this blue light perception causes what we call digital eye strain. So what's digital eye strain? Well, there's a problem associated with being on the computer. There's discomfort. There's problems from the glare unless you get an anti-glare coating. Some people don't even have that. You can't even see my monitor, but I'm going to teach you how to change your settings so you can cut the blue light on your computer. It's a little weird at first because a lot of my patients go, is your monitor pink or is this the effects of dilation? I go, it's the dilation. No, I changed it. I said, no, I can help you change this too.
Right.
So
Yeah, because those warmer lights are easier on the eyes.
yeah, you're cutting away that blue. So, oh gosh. So again, about 67% of patients experience some kind of digital eye strain because they're increasing their time. So what are those symptoms? Well, they're saying, I can't focus. I have to look far away and then I have to come back in order to, function because my eyes hurt all the time. So they call this accommodative because you're focusing back and forth. Stress. So it's a different kind of stress. It's trying to focus. Now, fixation disparity means they can't look at one thing and then the other thing seems blurred, or there's pain around their eyes, or they keep getting headaches. I have lots of patients who tell me, yeah, by the end of the day, I'm just wiped out. My head is exploding. I can't do any more work. And I said, well, how many hours are you in the computer? Oh, well, all day. It's my job. I'm a computer analyst, or I'm a data entry specialist, or I work, I work at the Kroger. Okay. I work at the grocery store. I'm all tick, 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 all day long. So there's a real things. And then simple things like dryness. Well, blink more. Yeah, that only helps for about a minute. Right. There's so many things that are starting to shut off. And this is because of this digital eye strain. So this is the comedy portion of the lecture here. Okay, you ready?
I am ready.
What do energy saving LED bulbs and digital devices have in common?
I don't know.
More blue light.
More blue light. Yeah.
So you're like, okay, I already kind of gave you that hint, But what was the thing they said? They knocked on your door. We're from the government. We're here to help. We've got these energy-saving light bulbs. You're going to love it. Yeah. You just give us your old incandescent
and we'll give you rebates on buying these new bulbs.
And we'll give you our first set for free. Just don't worry about the little fine print down here. Just take them. Right. And you're like, well, okay, sure, it's free. And it's energy saving. Woohoo! Yeah.
I took the liberty of bullshitting you, okay? You lied to me. It wasn't a lie. It was just bullshit.
They weren't lying. It was just BS. That's what they were doing. We didn't tell you. We said it was energy saving. We just didn't forget the part where, it's going to mess up the rest of your life forever.
Right. They always seem to leave out that part.
A little tiny fine.
A minor oversight, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So back in the day when we used to have incandescent, that was about 3% blue light. Not so bad. 97% legit and 3% blue. Okay, fine. I'm good with that. But what happened was, like I said, worker bee must work. Switch to fluorescent. That jumped it up to 26%. Okay, well, you were working in the work environment. Again, back in those days, they weren't on the computer so much. But now you add the LED and it increases to 35%. So, but not only is the LED in your office or in all your bulbs in your house, which is not in my house, but it's also in your grocery stores. It's also
everywhere.
Headlights on the cars these days. Yeah. So, when you're driving, you're like, whoa, that's too bright for me. I can't handle it. So we're being bombarded with this light. So why did they get rid of the incandescent bulb? Well, you can thank our former president for that. Yes, he actually put a ban on it. CNN
Wasn't he coming after our fireplaces too, or our gas stoves? That's right. What it was.
Why gas stoves? Again, if they do electric stove and you do an EMP pulse, and you can't make any food.
Exactly.
Can't make any
One
food.
more way to
eat,
trap you into their system. Right.
You must comply. So why is the government banning these bulbs? Well, the Department of Energy says it's a $3 billion waste, so we've got to help our carbon emissions. Yeah, they're the only ones who are producing a lot of carbon, a lot of hot air. So they said, okay, over the next, 30 years, we've got to get rid of this. We've got to get rid of this. But became kind of controversial, right? Because people are like, well, I don't want to do that. And they did. They pulled this from the shelves. You couldn't find this anywhere. Yeah. They're coming back now. They are coming back.
I remember when that happened and just thinking like, what a time to be alive.
we are going backwards instead of forwards with this.
Wow.
So in 2019, the Trump administration said, and it was actually during Obama's time. Obama's time was they're trying to get rid of the bulb in 2007. And then, of course, the Biden administration reinstated it. So he said, Trump said, no, I don't want this anymore. Besides, these LED bulbs make me look orange. Haha.
I don't think it's just the bulbs, but that's
I don't
okay.
think so either. So anyway, so they brought it back, but they were trying to ban the next one, which was fluorescent. I'm probably okay with that too. But they've brought it back. But the thing is, it's still very hard to get. Very few stores carry it. I try to look online. And so when they were starting to ban it, somebody asked me in another podcast and was like, where do you get it? I go, well, I have the whole supply and I'm not selling. Just like, it's not selling. It's mine. It's, to me, it's gold. Okay. You can keep your gold. I'm going to keep my incandescent light bulb. So, but you can find it. And like I said, if you switch the LED to the warmer instead of the white, you switch it to the warmer yellow, then it's at least better for your eyes. So what, am I just spewing off garbage, or is there some kind of study that, corroborates what I'm saying? Well, I read probably 500 studies to even write this lecture, as I always do. I always do this over information. And then I picked the few ones that kind of hit it home hard. And this study was done in 2015. So it's been a minute, it's not been just last week. This is coming to fruition a little bit better now. But it's showing it's like retinal damage induced by LEDs, commercial LEDs. And what this, again, I'm going to break it down to make it a little bit easier for you guys to understand. But the loss of photoreceptors occurs. So LED lights cause loss of photoreceptors, which are those cones in the back of the eye, by the activation of this. It causes basically, so apoptosis means programmed cell death. So every cell has a life cycle. Every body has a life cycle. So like this cell is going to like you have face cells, right? You wash your face every day. So it has a life cycle of, let's say, 7 days, or your red blood cell has 72 hours. Each cell in the body has so much life cycle. Well, what this does, it speeds it up. It says, you know what? Your eyes are supposed to last 75 years, but we're going to make it 45. We're going to cause the cell necroptosis. Necro means death. So we're going to cause necrosis and necroptosis quickly. So the body doesn't have time to get its juju back. Okay. And so it's causing these cells to die because of the constant bombardment. If you're constantly exploded upon and your body doesn't have time to recharge or regenerate, it's going to cause these cells to die. So phototoxicity, meaning the light's toxic effects from the LED on the back of the eye, is characterized by strong damage to the photoreceptors and inducing the death of those cells. So it's increasing the stress on the back of the eye. That's called oxidative stress, causing the damage to the retina and the cells to die. So let me show you kind of what it's doing. The minute the blue light comes to the eye, it starts to scatter. Okay. It's just like everywhere, and it creates heat. And that heat, when you're exposing you put your hand in front of a flame, it feels good and warm and toasty, but you touch it, you're going to burn your fingers.
Right.
The same thing. This high energy light might be good over here, but the closer we get to it, more heat resonates and it scatters and it hits the back of the eye. And what is it? Everything is the path of least resistance. So it also then causes photochemical, meaning light chemical damage. So what I start to see, this is a smooth back of the eye. These are potholes. These potholes are causing the death of a cell. And this is what I see when I look into the eye. Eyes are windows to the soul, so we do windows. I look into the eye and I see this damage, and this is called age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. Well, you know what's interesting in literature now? They don't call it age-related macular degeneration. They just call it macular degeneration. Why? Because I stopped seeing it in my 80, 70, 80, 90-year-olds, and I started seeing it in my 40 and 50-year-olds. And I said, what's going on here?
Yeah, they did the same thing with diabetes. It used to be juvenile diabetes, and now it's type 1 diabetes.
Because kids are getting...
because it's not just kids that are getting it now. It's adults way too young.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. How many 5-year-olds really need to be drinking Starbucks lattes?
0.
Exactly. But yet I see it. They drink those little Frappuccino things. No wonder they're buzzing off the things. So all that sugar and all that caffeine, it's really bad for them. So yes, it is one of the most common causes of blindness in developing countries. And this is a very descriptive picture of the retina. The retina now is 10 layers thick. You didn't know that, I bet, right?
I did not.
9 layers plus the choroid. So you've got all these retinal cell layers, and any of them can be affected. So it's predicted that almost 300 million of them, we're going to increase that number in the next 20, 30 years. That's pretty scary.
That is pretty scary. Yeah.
And it's all because, well, not all, but it is one of the main reasons because of the exposure of this, evil TV, as I call it. And this is causing this dysfunction in this bottom layer, which is that epithelium or the bottom layer of the retina. So let me show you this beautiful picture here, which explains everything so easily to me. Now, these UVA and UVB, you've heard of UV light coming from the sun.
Yeah.
Now, again, sun is God's creation. So we are God's creation. And if you don't believe in that, well, then I can sell you some swampland. But anyway, so if we look over here and we see this is the front of the eye, which we call the cornea, this is protecting ourselves from the UVB, the UV ultraviolet B wavelength. Now, the lens, which was I was telling you before, the crystalline lens inside the eye, God created UVA, and then he created the lens to protect us from this. Okay, so it will never give it to the back of the eye. But man created this blue light. And guess what? It bypasses the front, the moat, as well as the dungeon door, and it goes straight to the retina to destroy it.
It tracks with the epic hubris of man that we would be creating all of these tools of our own destruction.
How poetic.
It's true, though.
It is. It is true.
Yeah.
It is going to the back to destroy that retina. And the higher, the more exposure, the more, and I keep getting younger and younger patients coming in with this. And it's like, what can I do? What can I do? It's like, quit your day job.
Right.
Or
our whole society is set up to be dependent upon this blue light. There really isn't like a way to live a modern plugged into the grid life without these exposures. I mean, I guess you could go be a off-grid homesteader, but not everyone can pull that off.
No. And so what we've got to do is protect ourselves. We've got to get us a shield. We've got to get a shield to protect ourselves. And I'll show you how to do that. So these are the different light emitting things that, the eye is protected by. And this is, again, much more for the doctors as opposed to lay people. But I just wanted to show you our first defense system is the cornea. Okay. And it will protect us to a certain extent from that light. But again, overexposure can intensify our dry eye symptoms. And even then, patients like, I have to blink, or I've got my rewetting tears and I'm constantly putting them in my eyes all day long because I'm in front of this evil TV or computer. And like I said to you before, UVB and UVC is absorbed by that cornea and protects. But what we found out in this other study, that this long-term exposure can not only damage those retinal cells, but the energy, the energy around. So mitochondria provides energy to the cell. So if you turn off the energy source, it cannot get better. And that's what we've been doing with everything out there. Not we, but the evil out there.
Right.
So this study in 2023 exposed mice to blue light and at certain wavelengths for 2 weeks. And this long-term exposure showed that each layer of the retina, all these 9 layers of the retina, started to shrink like an accordion. So instead of being nice, thick, and juicy, it started becoming almost dehydrated. And this significantly caused, again, that programmed cell death, and then impaired the powerhouse of the cell, the functioning of the cell, the energy of the cell, which is the mitochondria. So when we looked at those patients, or look at those mice, we see the thickness. These are all the different layers. And I think I have a better picture here. Let me see if I can find it. This is going to get too into the woods, but okay, let me just show. Pictures are worth 1,000 words. So this is the mitochondria, okay? This is nicely organized. Everything's beautiful. And then when the blue light is exposed, you see all these organelles or these nice grid patterns.
Yeah.
See how it's all disrupted here?
Order versus chaos.
Correct.
Yeah.
So this is total entropy here, my friend.
Right,
So this is
not good on a cellular level when you're that slide.
So Right. And so the eye now cannot function. It cannot see. It's dead. So that part of the eye just shut off. And then you're like, well, I got the rest of the retina, but if it keeps shutting off all these other things, it causes destruction in that retinal pigment epithelial layer because the higher exposure to that blue light. And this is the picture. This is the retina, a slice of the retina blown up here, and you can see that it's getting thinner. So if you look at the actual microns, the entire retina should be about 210 microns thick, and it's gone down to 165. So you've lost almost 80 microns. And each layer, each one of these layers, the interplexiform layer, the internuclear layer, the outer nuclear layer, and the retinal pigment epithelium, which is down here, all of these have shrunk by 10 microns. Now, if your eyeball is less than 20 millimeters in length, I mean, it's just this tiny little thing.
Right.
Every micron counts, okay? Everything counts, and you're shrinking this, and pretty much it's shrunk, and then it dies. And this is just 2 weeks exposure. So can you imagine 8 hours a day, every day for 365 days?
Yeah.
Or not, maybe you take weekends off, but I know people who work every weekend.
I know people who even when they're not working, they're on their computer for fun.
Yes. And they're 2 inches away from their screen watching their iPad.
Right.
They don't watch the big TV anymore.
Laying in bed, doom scrolling on social media for God knows how long.
Right.
To relax. Right.
To relax. Exactly. So this basically saying, which is the discussion, exposure to this causes this oxidative stress and retinal cell death. And then the long-term exposure causes the mitochondria to be destroyed, and more and more exposure will make it worse. And then this is another, and I can go on, but I just want to show you these. These are the beautiful photoreceptors that we see. When you expose it to blue light, they start to create holes in it, and they become, instead of beautifully stacked coins, they become disrupted. Instead of perfectly stacked, they become in disarray. So the cell membranes break, the structures become disrupted, and then you don't use that part to see anymore. So and this was a 2011 study. Again, more than 10 plus, 15 plus years. So what do we need to do? So here's your action items. Ready?
Yes.
Okay. Now that I've scared the heck out of you, now it's time to wake you up and do something about it. Limit it. Okay. No computer use, no tablet use, no smartphone use within 3 hours before bedtime. You just unplug. Okay. It's your only way to allow your melatonin to increase again, because you're just shutting it off. And the more you expose yourself to it, you're going to continue to shut it off. Next, protection. Oh, we're talking about what? What kind of protection we're talking about? It's okay. Well, you want to say a condom for the face, right? Okay, it's a different thing. So I don't. Let me see if I should have probably brought it.
I remember seeing are you talking about those glasses?
Yes. So this is brown. Okay, this is gray. It's not gray, but it's actually clear. It's clear. And okay, I'll show you. Actually, this is one of my patient's glasses. So let me pull this one out. She broke the stem. She fell. I'm going to show. Yeah. So this is, look, it looks normal, right? But you can see there's a thing in there. It's called Blue Guard. So it's protecting the patient from the effects of blue light from everywhere. So this Blue Guard is clear, and that's kind of what you need. It will protect you from that blue light. And I think I have some slides I can show you that next. And then the last thing, you are what you eat, from your head to your feet. So there are certain foods that you can eat that can increase and protect that which is taken away. And so let's go over these real quickly. So we have our own eye shield, which the body has to protect from antioxidants. And one, of course, I told you, is the lens. That helps you. Then inside is this huge space, which we call the vitreous, and it's kind of like a jello. It sits there kind of happy. And then the aqueous is this kind of bathes the back of the cornea. So those are natural antioxidants in our body. Now, our retina has a couple of things called lutein and zeaxanthin. And they work well with anything like your vitamin C, your vitamin E, and your zinc. Your vitamin zinc, your minerals like zinc. So they work well together. So what foods can we do? Well, in the macula, which I call macular degeneration, in the macula, these two things are called carotenoids. These zeaxanthin zeaxanthin and lutein are called carotenoids. Well, what does carotenoid come from? Carrot.
Carrots.
Carrot has what? Orange and yellow pigment. So guess what? Your orange and yellow pigment foods are going to be your friends. So we better start eating more of those. So our retina has this since birth. We have, this concentration is the highest in the eye compared to any other body part. So if we can't get it, once we're born with it, that's what we have. The only way we can get it is through the foods that we eat. So we need to gas it up. You go to your car or you go to your gas station to fill up your car to get the energy it needs, the juice it needs. You have to gas up your engine in order to get it functioning as well as you did when you were a child. So you have to start eating the foods that will help you, because we have a ton when we're kids. But as we age, it decreases. And unless you fill up your fuel tank, you're never going to get it back. So because these studies show that the damage is done, these are the foods that we need. Like we just said, carrots, carrot juice, pumpkins, sweet potatoes, cantaloupe, apricots, a mango. Mango is so good for you. Everyone says, oh, fruits are bad, has sugars in it. Again, this is God-created sugar.
It's natural sugar. Yeah.
Exactly. Not man-created sugar.
Right.
So anything that's been processed or refined, you might as well just throw it down the garbage. That's what it is. Garbage in, garbage out. So if you put good stuff in you, you'll get good stuff in return. Now, people don't realize not only the orange ones are good, but the green stuff is good too. Not only the money, but the collard greens, the kale. Now, I'm not a big fan of kale, but if you get rid of this little rib over here and just, have that.
Have the leaves. Right.
Yes. Juice it, baby. Turnip green, spinach. All these have antioxidant effects. And to help it bind even better is your happy vitamin C. Now, what's vitamin C? Your lemons, your citrus, your oranges. We all know this stuff. It's just sometimes we need to we should probably eat a little bit more of that.
Again, our cultural conditioning has us eating ultra-processed foods.
Because it's fast.
Because it's faster and it's convenience food, and they removed us even further from our original design.
So opening a bag of chips probably takes 10 seconds. Peeling an orange takes 30. Okay, get over it. So, I can be really peeling an orange really fast and just gobble it down.
Right. Putting something in a microwave is faster than making it from scratch.
Oh, God. I can't even eat microwave food. I can taste the radioactivity.
We use ours for storage.
Yeah, we don't even have one. I think it's, the EMFs alone. I think you had an EMF course, didn't you?
We did. Yeah, it was Charles Frohman. He did a wonderful job.
Yeah, just dangers of EMF, dangers of blue light. All these things are kind of in hand. And again, you can't sleep because of the Wi-Fi coming from this as well. So if you have a server anywhere near your room, I had another patient tell me yesterday, oh, this is such a sad case. So she has Graves' disease, which is thyroid related.
Yeah.
She has lupus. She has rheumatoid arthritis. She cannot sleep. She barely gets maybe 2 hours of sleep every night. If she's not on a narcotic, she cannot sleep. And if they take her off the narcotic, she has hallucinations and like evil dreams.
Like seriously withdrawal symptoms. Yeah.
And it started when she was 23. She's only 40.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
And she still has so much longer to go. That's younger than both of us.
Yeah. Yeah. And she found me through a podcast. So I said to her, okay, let's start the healing. First of all, what are you eating? She said, nothing. I said, what do you eat during the day? Coffee. You eat coffee during the day. I have 3 or 4 cups and I go through the day. I start my day at 5:30 in the morning. I'm at work till 7 p.m. at night. I said, that's not a job. And I said, let me guess, you're doing the work of 4 people? She said 3. Because no one wants to work or everyone's dead. In fact, her doctor, oh my God, I forgot about this. Her doctor, who she's seen for the last 10 years for this lupus, just died of a brain tumor at 63.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that going around. Yeah.
So we got to heal these people. We got to we got to start from ground zero. We've got to tell them work is not the end all be all. Yes, I know it's the thing to function eating, but guess what? If you don't do the work, who's going to do it? So you need to back off. You need to tell your boss, hey, I can't be doing the work of 3 people anymore. I'm going to be doing the work of 1 person, and then you're going to hire 3 people. And if you're not, you're going to lose me. But she's so afraid of losing her job. I'm like, no, you're more valuable to them than they are to you. So you need to recognize that. There's that self-worth as well. She's brilliant at what she does. She's excellent at what she does. I'm going to see if I can help her find another job. That's for sure. Anywho, then zinc. Okay, you don't want to overdose on zinc, but we don't really get enough of zinc. So zinc is found in mushrooms. I actually went to a mushroom fest this weekend. I learned all about the magic of mushrooms. Not that kind of mushroom, but like cordyceps and lion's mane and all these beautiful things.
The mycelium is fascinating to study and research. I mean, it's just cool.
It's awesome. And so when you learn about how these little, a few almonds every day keeps, zinc intact, that's awesome. So you do all these little things together, and the vitamin E with avocados. I have an avocado every day. It's a good fat, not a bad fat. Keeps your HDLs up, your LDLs low, and everybody happy. HDL is my happy one. So these are the key nutrients to protect you against these damages of blue light. And so you have to have that diet rich in lutein and zeaxanthin. There's different studies. There's different things. ARED study showed vitamin C, E, and zinc, which I shared with you. The NH, this is the National Institutes of Health, and I don't remember what this alphabet soup stood for, but they showed now vitamin B1. Now, B1 is a water-soluble vitamin, and it's thiamine. And if you guys out there who have low thyroid and are taking Synthroid, you actually need to increase your B1. And most of us don't have enough B in our diet. We just don't. And because it's water soluble and most of it's fortified, like fortified cereals, well, cereals have all this sugar in it. So that's not good for you. So if you increase your B1, and you can do it on multivitamin. Sorry, I didn't say that. I meant a B complex. Okay.
Right.
But the thing with B, you have to take it in the morning because it makes you a lot of energy and alert. So you want to take your B vitamins in the morning. You can take B with C, but you can't take B12 with C because it negates the effect of it. So if you're going to do your Bs, just, I would separate it a little bit, maybe wait an hour. Now, Mediterranean diet is also great. It's beautiful stuff like this. You eat healthy, your body will feel that way. You'll get more energy whether you like it or not, and you won't need the coffee because coffee, guess what?
Depletes your body.
It depletes your body of vitamin C, and it's a diuretic. So for every 1 cup of coffee, you'll need to drink 4 cups of water to substitute for the coffee that diluted you. And you should be drinking half your body weight in ounces of water. So if you're 128 pounds, you should be drinking 64 ounces of water. And that's about 4 water bottles. But I don't drink out of water bottles. I drink out of tin or steel because water is microplastics. And
I drink out of glass.
Glass, steel, exactly. So I actually even have a silver cup I drink out of sometimes because you get the antimicrobial. Yeah, it's my great-great-grandmother's. I thought, OMG, they knew what they were doing back then.
They did.
Yeah, they really did.
Yeah.
So it's antimicrobial, antifungal, antiparasitic, silver. So if you drink out of that, you let it soak in that cup for 4 hours and you get all that antibacterial, antifungicidal activity. And you're just drinking really clean, beautiful water. So all these things will help. It even helps prevent cataracts and then provides the body with a natural eye shield. Now, the outside way of protecting is through, like I said, what we call sometimes gamer glasses. So some patients who don't wear glasses or prescription at all, we can protect through just a no prescription lens, which has this blue guard protection. So one is on the top of it, the coated lens, and one is inside. It's called baked in. So most of us, there's so many Google searches out there. I hate saying Google, but that's what it is. There's so many searches that 8 out of 10 people are looking for ways to protect their eye. But here's the sad truth. Only 2 out of 10 are actually doing it.
That tracks.
So 80% are worried. Yeah. They'll watch this podcast going, I got to do something. And then they'll go, okay, well, the show's over. I'm going to watch another one. Yeah. And then they forget.
They move on.
So I'm trying to say stop and do something about it. So they are looking now. Most glasses out there have, especially Zeiss. Zeiss is really known for that. I work with that company, Zeiss. Zeiss. They make binoculars, they make lenses, they make microscopes. They've been around for over 100 years. They're a German-based company. So we have to switch to the German accent, yeah? Well,
Love it.
I forgot to do that. Yes. Okay. So they protect from the UV, which is fine, but most of them don't protect from the blue light. And that blue light range is between that 400 and 455 nanometers. So what we need to do is now bake it into the lens, the blue guard, to protect from that bad, harmful light. So this standard, this is ISO, International Standards Organization, technical report showed that the upper limit of 455 is what we're worried about for blue light. And if we can block it, then we can protect the patient. So it blocks that 40% of that blue light. And then you can get it in an anti-glare coating, which is, you can actually do both. I usually just put a blue guard on my patients inside the lens, and then I put them on an anti-glare coating to protect them from and then, the reflections of, when you're on a TV screen, you'll reflect if you're on Zoom calls and stuff. If you're worried about reflections from, oncoming lights and cars and everything, this will help you protect from that as well. So it allows the transmission of the blue turquoise, the chill light, but not the blue violent light. Okay. So that's what they figured out. Zeiss figured it out. They said, we're going to put it in our lenses. So this will limit your exposure. You also want to limit your exposure before bedtime. I said at least 2 to 3 hours before. When you start to wind down, you should start to pull that away. If you want to go to bed at 10 o'clock, around 7:30, that better be your upper limit, because you are not going to fall asleep naturally. However, there is a way to even help you there. So I put a patient who says, I can't sleep, and I'm on my computer and I'm on this and I really want to stay away from it. So I give them an orange filter, and within an hour, they're going to be doing the head bob. They want to stay on their computer. So I put them on the orange filter. Orange filter blocks 98% of the blue light. So no matter what they're like, I can't stop being on the computer. Okay, well, action item. Let's make your body stop. And so they will start to fall asleep. A yellow filter cuts down about 78%. So they want to feel chill, but not ready to go to bed.
But still functional.
Still functional. Exactly. Right. I have a lady who's high anxiety, super high anxiety. She goes to work like this, and she's about 20. Okay. She's so young, and she's always on the computer. That's her job. So I gave her the yellow filters, and she said, this is the first time I can go to work without being stressed.
Wow.
So, and then another patient of mine who has macular degeneration, the yellow increases contrast. So it helps her driving at night. It helps her driving when it's a cloudy day, and it helps increase the contrast on her page. She wants to read something. She wrote to me the minute I gave it to her. She's like, this is the first time I've been able to read for 1 hour without stopping.
That's awesome.
So that was my first patient I was doing, and I'm like, you know what? There's something to this if we can help. So now this is how you do this proactively on your own computer. So if you have an iPad, an iPhone, a Mac computer, I'm sorry I don't have it for the Samsung, but you can probably, I will see if I can find it for you guys and then create that for you. But what you do is you'll go to settings here. You'll click on settings, and then you'll go to accessibility, like your, handicap or something. So you click on accessibility, and then you find the display, and you click on the display, and then you scroll down to where you see the color filters. And I turned mine on already, but it usually says off. So when it's off, you'll see this kind of blue. You see all that blue just popped up? Well, I turn mine on, and then you can change the intensity to make it a lighter, less blue or more blue. I'm sorry, less red or more red. So what I do, in the beginning, I put a little bit. Then I got used to it, and then I put a little bit more. And you can see this screen is pretty pink. So I'm almost toward the end. I really don't like the blue light. Now, unless I'm working on something graphic design or whatever, I'll switch it back to blue. But oh God, it kills me, because I just don't do the blue light anymore. In fact, like I said, this whole screen right here that I'm looking at is as pink as that. So that's all you have to do. It's pretty easy, and you can do that on your phone. And you can do that on your computer as well. And I think the next slide is the same thing. Oh, okay. So this is on the MacBook. So it's the same thing. You go to the Finder, you open up the settings, and then you go to General. And then when you click General, you'll go back to Accessibility and then the display. Oh, I think, Accessibility and Display. And you're doing the exact same thing. You're turning the color filter on, and then you're going to increase the intensity of that. So those are the great things that you can do. There's your other action item. So the filters, the lenses. So these are the different filters. Now, who do you trust? Where are you going to go? Am I going to go to Amazon? No, you're not going to go to Amazon. Unless, of course, you want a cheap knockoff and you don't know what lens it is. I have only Zeiss lenses. I have good quality lenses. So in the next week, I don't know when you're going to post this, but give me at least a week. That's all I'm saying.
It'll be at least a week.
Okay. You can go to my site, my website, Doc Nanda, DOCNANDA, docnanda.com. You can click on the blue light section, and then you can see the different glasses, and they even have an app. So you can download the app. This is a good app, not a bad app, where you can virtually try on all the frames and see, oh, I like this one or I don't like this one. And then if you have like bifocals and you want progressive bifocals, you can do that. And it'll do all the measurements, boom, right there. And then you just click on it, you put in your prescription, and then it gets sent to you. It takes a couple of weeks, but
that's awesome.
You'll have and you can do either the yellow tint if you're, wiped out, like too anxious or whatever, or you can just do the blue guard, which is clear, but it'll protect from that blue light. And then, of course, I have patients who still can't fall asleep at night. Those are the ones I tell them you need to do the orange. So you can click on that as well. So any option you want, you can do that. It's a good quality lens. It's something that you can do, protect yourself. And then you're not really worried about, oh no, I just don't know what to do. I don't know where to get it. And it's reasonable, and nothing is super expensive. You go to some places they charge $200 for frames and $400 for lens, and pretty soon you spend $1,000 and you don't even know what you get. Just cut that price in half. Okay. You're going to, or even a third. It's reasonable. I'm just trying to help as many people as possible. And with people like you, Carrie, who are just out there spreading the word and, protecting people from the shots. I'm trying to protect people from the eyes. And I will be happy to do the other podcast where we talked about.
For sure. I would love to have you back. It's not a hard sell.
No. I know. I just haven't finished writing the lecture because I've done some protocols now.
Well, we're almost out of time. What is the last thing that you want to leave our audience with before we go?
Yeah. So let's do that beautiful summary thing here. We know that there's a problem. Okay. But 70% of us are unaware of that problem. So it's us to explain everything. We need to figure out what's this blue light. If you can go to your even senators and congressmen and say, hey, let's bring incandescent more, make it easier to get and get rid of this stuff that's really causing a lot of damage. And then communicate everything. I say it was a see one, do one, teach one. You just saw it. You're going to now teach it to your friend. You're going to do it yourself. You're going to get your own way of protection. And then you're going to teach it to your friends and family. Yep. And that's the best way. And you're going to limit the use. You're going to get rid of those with their kids. Try to go to paper. I mean, paper is amazing. I've used it for many years. Anyway, you're going to limit the hours before bedtime and reduce any of that. You're going to make sure no phones, no tablets, no computers are in your bedroom. Okay? You're going to get rid of all that stuff, including any of the things that produce the EMF. You're going to protect your kids. You're going to give them gamer glasses. If they don't have a prescription, you're going to protect them by putting the blue light protection on. You yourself are going to wear these to protect yourself in the grocery stores or the headlights from the cars, etc. So all those things are what we need to do. And we need to realize that this exposure has increased. It is particularly harmful, especially the blue violet light is the harmful one, the high energy one. And unfortunately, the children of today are going to be tomorrow's case studies, and their effects are going to be rampant unless we do something now. So we are on this mission from God.
We're on a mission from God. We're on a mission from God. We're on a mission from God. We're on a mission from God.
We are on a mission from God.
We are.
So having said that, I thank you. I thank your audience for listening to me. And I hope we can live long and prosper. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Nanda. It is always a pleasure and a blessing to have you on the show. And thank you to our audience for tuning in again. Again, I am Carrie Bigford, Outreach Director with Texans for Vaccine Choice. And this has been another engaging episode of Shot Callers. I'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Shot Callers podcast. Please, if you found value in this content, rate us and share the podcast with a friend. It's a great way to get the message out and to empower everyone to make informed decisions. Until next time, never forget, we are the Shot Callers.